Do you feel like your progress as a lead guitar player has stalled even though you've been practicing scales religiously? I know that feeling all too well. I used to spend countless hours running scales up and down the fretboard. Every guitar teacher I had told me to do so, so I did. Pentatonics, major and minor scales, modes, harmonic minor, you name it. I genuinely believed I was on the path to becoming a great lead player. But man, was I wrong. And if you are an intermediate guitarist, there's a good chance your scale practice is also just a waste of time. So in this video I want to break down 3 massive mistakes guitar players make when practicing scales, and how to avoid them. So you can go from this to this. The thing is, we take scale practice for granted. That's just what you are supposed to do, right? You see other players doing it, there are a million YouTube lessons on it, it's built into every method book. So we never stop to question it, we just assume if everyone else does it, I should too. And to be fair, scales are important. Just like learning the alphabet is important if you want to write. But think about it, does anyone become a great writer by writing out the alphabet from A to Z every day? Of course not. And yet, that's exactly what a lot of intermediate guitar players are doing. Endlessly running through scale patterns without knowing what they're actually trying to achieve. Which brings us to the first big mistake. Mistake number 1. Scales are traditionally used for a lot of different purposes. Learning the fretboard, improving hand coordination, building technique, developing your ear, or just wasting time. The problem with scales is that even though they can help with a lot of these things, they might not be the best tool for the job. You can use them for ear training or building technique, but I believe there are better, faster and more musical ways to reach those goals. We will get to that in a minute. But the first question you need to answer when you sit down to practice a scale is what's your goal, what you are actually trying to improve. If you can answer that, you will fall into the same trap I did. Running scales up and down the neck every day, feeling like you are making progress. But the moment you try to jam with someone or write a solo that actually sounds good, it's painfully obvious. You cannot do it. Because again, scales are just alphabet. You don't become a fluent speaker by reciting letters over and over. Scales are not music, they are just raw material. And if you want to sound like your guitar heroes, you need to learn what they understand deeply. And that's how to actually make music out of scales. So yes, scales can be useful if you know what you are using them for. But even when you do have a goal in mind, it might be the wrong one. Because no matter how hard you practice, there are things scale drills will never teach you. I know because I put in the hours. I drilled scales every day thinking it would eventually click. But it didn't. It never led me anywhere close to the sound I actually wanted. And that leads us straight into mistake number 2, the one that holds back tons of intermediate players, even the ones who put in the hours. Mistake number 2. I think the main reason most intermediate guitar players practice scales all day every day is because they want to get better at lead guitar, right? They want to sound smooth, expressive, musical, like their favorite players. So here's the real question. Is knowledge of scales enough to play a great solo? Of course not. To actually sound good, you need so much more. You need a good technique, you need to understand phrasing, you need dynamics, you need rhythm, feel, melodic development, harmonic awareness. And practicing scales won't teach you any of that. So don't use scales for something they can't deliver. If your goal is to sound like a great lead player, then you need to learn from great lead players. Let me show you what I mean. Let's take the chord progression from Peter Green's song I Loved Another Woman. Now I'm going to play over it using just the scale. This is what a lot of intermediate players, including me back in the day, sound like when trying to solo with scale shapes alone. It's technically correct, but sounds awful. No emotion, no story, just notes. Now listen to what Gary Moore played in his live rendition of this song. Hear the difference? It's not just the notes, it's how he plays them. The bends, the space, the vibrato, the dynamics. If you want to sound like that, running scales up and down won't ever get you there. So the question is, how do you develop this kind of playing that all the greats of the guitar have? And it is certainly not by playing scales over backing tracks over and over. I see it all the time and I did it myself too. You fire up a backing track, start noodling, and hope that if you just keep doing it, eventually your phrasing will magically improve. But if you haven't practiced phrasing, it won't just show up. That feel, that nuance, it doesn't come out of thin air. It's like trying to speak with an Italian accent without ever hearing a real Italian speak. You are just guessing and guessing wrong. Don't try to invent feel, phrasing and dynamics from scratch. Most likely you won't be successful. If you want great phrasing, you have to listen and imitate players who already have it. Absorb their timing, their dynamics and how they shape each phrase. Find the phrase that you find fascinating and try to imitate it the best you can. Listen closely to the dynamics, rhythm, vibrato and everything that makes that phrase sound so good. And make it your goal to practice this every day instead of mindlessly running scales up and down the neck. Then, once you've internalized that feel a bit, then you can start putting your own spin on it. That's how you go from playing scales to actually making music. If all of this feels a bit too advanced right now, check out this video where I break down a super simple way to see the fretboard so you can start writing solos that actually sound good.